My brothers, 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 I got your back. My brothers,
Yeah, it's your boy, Du Boy. This is the Band of Brothers podcast show. And I'm here with my brothers. I got my brother G Money.
What up?
I got my brother Chris Hinton.
What up?
And I got my brother Mo A. What's up, Mo A?
What's happening? What's happening, man?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Oh,
we want to welcome you to the Band of Brothers podcast show. This is the show. We band together as brothers, lift each other up, encourage each other, and inspire over the win in this thing that we call life. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing today?
good.
What's up?
Yeah,
Man, I'm kind of excited, man. We got two of our best on here, man.
what's up?
Best guests.
all.
All right. Glad to see both of y'all, man.
Yeah, good to be back on, man. Real good.
Cool.
Been ready.
Where Boss Man at, man?
Boss
Where
man,
Boss Man at?
he the boss man. He out the office. That's all I can say. So, yeah. But tonight, man, we got a topic. We want to get into some deep stuff tonight, man. How I want to address this, man. We are the Band of Brothers podcast. So what we talk about is men, particularly black men, and how we are to address our situations as being men, right? The day-to-day things that we deal with. So one thing that we deal with is fatherhood. Out of that fatherhood, we have kids, and our kids have to go to school. And I'm gonna ask this question to y'all fellas on what are your perceptions on the idea of your kids' education, or your kids being taught well, or what are the focus, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses of your kids in the public schools, if your kids in public school or whatever.
Well, so I'll crank this off then. So start
Go
off.
ahead, crank it off, man. Go ahead. You
In-
ain't
in
no
my-
stranger.
In my opinion, I believe that, one of the first mistakes that we have made in life as a people is allowing our children to be educated by a whole nother.
Yeah, your mic muted, Mo. He said by allowing our people to be educated, and we'll get back on it when he hit back in. Jump in there, Chris.
I want to say a lot of stuff starts at home
Okay.
before they even get on the bus or however they transport to school.
Sending our children to
Okay, there you go.
be educated by the one who took all our education away.
Hold on, Mo. You went out for a second, man.
Oh, I
Yeah,
did.
you still talking, huh?
Oh, sorry, man.
You got to
my
start
bad.
over.
Man. Oh, my bad, man.
You gotta rewind all the way back.
All the way
Yeah,
back.
man.
Yeah, we just heard you say something about education, then you jumped off. Like, oh, where you go?
Oh, man. Oh, that was my fault, man. My phone that started ringing. I guess that's what it was. My bad. But
Oh, you all right?
like when you educated by somebody, we got to look at who it is we're allowed to educate our children. Because if we look back, when you receive education, you're only going to receive as much knowledge as that person who's educating you is willing to give you. And then if you look at who it is that educates you, and then you think about we're allowing ourselves to be educated by the same one who took all the education that we had away from us. And so as a people, we should think about it. Fact that okay, if you took my knowledge of self away from me and
Mhm.
my people, and you try to deprive us of that, what are the chances that you gonna re-educate me and give me all of those things which I once known back to me? And you know, when we allow children to go into these education systems, we allow the same one who took it to teach our children. And if we look at the results of what we have, what's being created, we see a lot of children who grow up confused, one, you know what I'm saying, trouble, two, you know what I'm saying. We find a lot of our people, even though we're being educated and taught, we still stand as a whole in the how would you say it, at the lower end of society. Um, where at a time we were building up, you know what I'm saying? We might have been building up nations or anything before we went into captivity or whatever. So to me, it seemed like it would be kind of, how would you put it? It would be kind of unwise to just trust that the information that we're being given is correct information, and that we'll be being given the whole amount of knowledge in which they may obtain.
So
You know,
I'm saying education is good or bad? Because I'm saying education is a bad thing. Or
well, education is good if you're receiving true education, but
What's your
my
definition of education?
what's your definition of education?
education, well, you know, education is pretty much just receiving information that whoever the one that's educating you is giving you. That's what education is. Um, somebody teaching you that which they want you to know.
I'm gonna have to hit him right quick on that one.
Okay.
To me, education is not just what's given to you. It's what you search for as well. You got to be hungry for it. So
Yeah.
when me saying that, basically, like, I'm gonna go biblical on you. You can teach a man. You can give a man a fish and he'll eat for the day. You can teach him how to fish and he'll eat for life. And a lot of our young ones aren't hungry anymore. And there's no one out there teaching them how to fish, nor are they asking anyone to teach them how to fish. So it's a two sides to everything. No matter what subject we speak on or what reply we have to, it's two sides to everything.
All right. I'm gonna read the definition of education.
Where the definition coming from, man?
Ain't the Urban Dictionary.
Go ahead.
The Oxford Languages.
Oh, okay.
Receiving or giving systematic instruction, especially at a school or university.
Mm-hmm.
Second definition, an enlightening experience. I would challenge that second definition. So education basically is a process of getting information for a systematic instruction. So I would say education is this. You buy a new appliance, right? They just say it's a new big 72-inch TV. You know what I'm saying? Something that you don't come across easily. And you unwrap that guy, you put it on the wall, and if you don't grab that manual, you're not going to educate yourself on this appliance. It's electronic. Until you read that manual is the education for that system that you just put on the wall. You get what I'm saying?
Oh,
That
yeah.
makes sense.
Oh yeah.
So that's education.
Hey, that's right. And
Remember I told you there's two ways to look at everything, right?
Go ahead.
Got his story and his story. Well, you chose to read the manual. What happened to that young brother that self-educate himself by taking that apart completely and putting it back together and finding other uses for it?
See,
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Education is the process of receiving or giving a systematic instruction. When you start trying to get in it and try to see how it works, that ain't education no more. That's starting to be knowledge.
Yeah.
Knowledge and education.
Yeah.
So
You know,
Yeah.
see, it's like when you read that manual, you don't know everything about how it works. You only know how the system works. Making sense?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
it makes sense, but as well, it's different levels to it because the manual is only going to be written for a certain type of person. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. It's written for the layman, man. It's written for somebody like myself don't know much about TV.
See,
So I know how to work that particular TV. But will you really be educated in the world of television?
you jump, man.
My mind think, man. But I got what you're saying. So the manual basically is gonna show you how to systematically operate that piece of equipment you got. Let's stick with that. Go ahead.
Yes, there we go. All right. Check this clip out. Let me get ready. Check this clip out and we're gonna comment on it. Remember what we're talking about, education, right?
That's right.
And so we see that the full fabric of the black community is being destroyed. And it's getting even deeper now because it's going to the level on the elementary grade school level, where our children are being indoctrinated with the idea that genocide is good for black people. The idea that black men and black women should not come together and produce families like we've done for millenniums. That it consists of a strong black man and a strong black woman in committed relationships building strong black families. And as a result, the complete fabric of the black community is falling apart. Our whole racial context is falling apart. And the basic identity of being black, of being African, and loving oneself, that concept is almost completely void. And
All right. Come on with it. I know he just said something to make somebody.
Hey, all I heard was a lot of truth come out.
A lot of
Heard a lot of truth. You know, hey, cause you know, in these days, we have lost our, like we don't became something other than what we were. And then that goes all the way back down to education too. So when we're being educated, what are we really being taught, you know what I'm saying, how to be as a civilization or a nation? Or are we really being programmed to do something that we're not? You know, cause you know, we do send our children to play, to like sometimes they have after school programming and all of it. I mean, they call it what it is. You know, we get taught a whole way of living that may not be our own. But how would we know any better if we taught that from the time we're a child? You know what I'm saying? You know, from the time we go straight to pre-K, pre-kindergarten, then we go to kindergarten, and we are taught all these ways, all their math, their sciences, you know what I'm saying? Their customs. We're taught all of these things, and we adopt them as if they're our own, as if we've done our own studies into these things to find them to be true. But we take them as if it's true. You know what I'm saying? And we taught it from a young age.
I tell you what, man.
Come on, G.
Caucasian guy told me this one day, man. It makes so much sense, man. I think it's distorted in the history. I think the mathematics speaks its own language from one culture to the next. With numbers, we can get into a deep discussion about that, how deep numbers can get, astrology and all that. But he made an interesting quote that the victor writes the history. The victor writes the history. The victor pretty much has a control. So breaking it down basically is that the person who is victorious, you're going to get my story, not anyone else's story. Not saying that any one story can leak into what's possible or whatnot to prove, but my influence in that house that I conquered is gonna pretty much trump for. It's gonna be hard to contest. I'm not saying that there won't be contesting, but it's gonna be tough to contest when I control it.
Hmm. Come on, Chris.
Yeah.
Some things that's on my mind that went along with the numbers of what he said, but I can't say them to y'all.
Go ahead.
I can't. You got to be of the same status with me.
All right.
All right, but is it true or is it not true? At least tell her that. Does it get deep?
It's true.
All right.
It get deep. It's a
Everything
universal
begins-
language.
Everything
Yeah.
begin and end with numbers.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Everything.
Gotcha.
I don't care for numbers because numbers to me, they say numbers don't lie. But what if the number is a lie?
No, you
I'ma
talk
tell
about
you,
statistics. You talk about statistics, man. Statistics a lot.
Hey, if you
Number don't lie though.
numbers, then you lost already. Because the world built off a monopoly.
Yeah, but if you give me a number and you tell me that number is a number and that number is actually a lie, then the whole equation is off.
Well,
You know what type of math you use.
Hey,
I'll talk about that later.
yeah.
All right, check it. What this dude was saying basically is that as a culture, African American, whatever you want to call it, Black America, whatever you want to call it, urban America, there's a system in place basically that challenges us harder than what we know. And it even started when we are young, as our kids are in school. And it challenges us to even accept who we really are and the things that are around us for as families. Kind of like, are we weak or are we strong? Can we make it? Can we make it? Are we struggling when we say what we not? That kind of stuff, based on the stuff that around us. Now, moving on to this right here, in the talking or thinking of the Black America youth, boys in particular. And I want to talk about boys because those boys are going to become the men of the future. Where are we educating Black American boys? Because we already just, according to what this guy's saying, there's a challenge that's in place to pretty much take our whole strength, our mindset, and corrupt it. And it's starting as young boys. So my question is, how are Black American boys being taught to be Black American men?
hey, overall, in a way, in a sense, many aren't being taught to be Black. Cause first of all, every time we gotta add the American into that, and that's something in itself that been taught to us since we was small. See, so we don't automatically already canceled out who we were before we was here.
Okay.
And see, as long as we still buying into their education, because their education starts us out where 400 years ago when they brought us over here in chains.
Yeah.
And so they blocking us from all the pre-existing history that we had before that. But before the time when we were African American or Black American, or how would you say it? Confused so-called American. You know, because we can't even agree on who we are.
According to what G Money said, the victor, the big money, the big banks get to decide who history get told.
Yeah. Now I'm a. Oh, go ahead, Moe. Go ahead and finish your thought, man.
I'm finna say, so really, if we look at it, it ain't so much as we are being just so-called educated. It's more like we're being what they would call colonized, or that we have been colonized.
Huh. That's
Okay.
kind of stuff. And I want to read.
Well, let's state this right here. Check this out. So going back to your question about who's educating the black boys of today, right? I'll read a quote, man. So we're gonna go through some numbers. Old Dubois don't agree with numbers. All right, I'm gonna throw some numbers out for you. Now, let's get to the end of the equation, but I think it's pretty relevant and pretty good, man. So basically, quote goes as this: African American Child Care Conference in September 1981 in Columbus, Ohio. Now, I'm not sure what the African American Child Care Conference is. I will look into that pretty much after the show, pretty much look deeper into this. But some sort of conference held in 1981 in Columbus, Ohio, noted that in 1950, home had the greatest impact on children, followed closely by school, church, peer group, and television. In that order. Check this out. That's 1950. By 1980, home remained number one, but peer group jumped from the end to number two, followed by number three, television, that went into number three. By 1985, you know what was predicted to be the greatest influence on children? Television. Television was predicted to be the greatest influence on children. Now, think about that for a moment. Think about how much programming went into this new thing called television. Out in the 80s is when color started coming in. People started getting your color television and stuff. Break it down to the point is this. I don't want to too much focus on the television. I want to know how we got away from our home. And the guy you just had on basically stated two things: family, connected to the community. Once you have a broken family, you have a broken community. And I think that's where we're missing it at. I think Chris was getting into a thought, then Moe jumped back on. He was already on, he didn't know he was off, but Chris was saying a thought. I want you, Chris, about probably want to finish that thought about it starts at home.
Yeah, it starts at home. But see, I'm not just going to say government, but the United States especially became dictatorship. And we all became a prisoner of the word free. And basically, we allowed ourselves to be bought, especially like stuff like Section 8, food stamp, HUD. A lot of that stuff broke families up. It didn't strengthen us at all. So with that being said, you have more mothers having kids by more different men, and they're not spending that quality time that's needed. And one of my big words that I like to use that's not happening anymore in households is bond. There are no more bonds. All the bonds are broken. You'll go into a household, and I say this all the time, and everyone's on a different electronic and in a different room, and no one's creating a bond. That is the start of the tear for the household.
All right. Those are good points.
Hey, I agree with all of that.
But I want to turn it back to the Black American boys, how they being affected by the public school, or you just say the school system in general. I mean, we talking about education. We talking about how education influenced the kids to becoming Black men. How do we address it, and what's the issues and the problem that y'all see? We talking about TV. Yeah, that plays a role, but here's the problem. Our guys, our boys, from a young age to the end of high school, are not taking heed, not paying attention to, or not taking education seriously. black females exceed the males, and I'm not a number guy. I'm just gonna guess, probably double.
It's probably double.
And
Double.
what do you see? Who struggle the most in society? Black
man.
men. Now we can talk about all this other stuff, but where are these boys being taught to become men, and how is it being affected in school? Because the school has a major role in all of this.
Well, it got a major role, but it don't mean that they actually making the effort to do it. They not doing anything. These guys are being taught by television. These guys are being taught by a peer group. Those two groups that hone in and halt down home, because the home ain't there. It started at home. I feel like, okay, it's not enough black parents interested in their kids' education, man. That's where it started. The education system for pretty much, and we talked a little bit about this, they're just sitting back holding the job, man. They're just sitting back holding the job. I'm not gonna say some of the comments that I've heard that, certain Caucasians have said, and I'm not want to make emphasis on it, but in a sense, to give people an idea, is basically holding down a job. Now, does that speak for all Caucasian teachers? No. Does it speak for all public school systems? No. I think I think it's highly upon where that school system is located, the area is located. Higher income areas will probably have a better school system. But where blacks fall big in is being a part of low income groups and having to send their kids to public schools in these low income areas that are terrible. The problem is that as a solution. Am I jumping the gun? What's going on?
I'm just saying, like, man, it got to be like Chris was saying, like, it got to be something done at home, right? Right, that's what you were saying, right, Chris?
Yes.
And Moe was saying, like, the system that is set up, how it was, the system ain't, I think he said it troubled or something. He was like, education. I asked you, was it good or was it bad? And G Money, I think you were saying about the programming, we're being programmed by the TV and all that. All of this stuff is true. But my question is how is the school system? All our black kids, our black boys are failing. I'm gonna give you a perfect. I'm gonna jump to it. We have a society where we give kids praise for certain things. Right now, if it's dancing, if it's rapping, if it's shooting basketball, football, turning back flips. See what I'm saying? We give them praise for something that's not academic. How do we change? How do we get these kids to start taking education?
First of all,
You don't think that praise will start at home? I think that's exactly what we all been saying, though. It started at home. If they don't get it at home, they're not gonna get it out there. They already.
Okay.
Go ahead, Moe. Go ahead, Moe. Go ahead.
Really, we got to look at it. Like, really, when it comes to educating our children, they need to be educated in the proper manner, no matter where they go. And see, a lot of times we got to take things back to the roots. Because first of all, okay, if when they go to school, first of all, they finna hear about a lot of things that not even concerning them. The only thing they hear about themselves is when they was in chains, on average. And then things that came after that. Okay, like they'll bring up people like Martin Luther King and they'll bring up the same speeches. You know what I'm saying? When they hear their people, all they hearing about their people is them being in a low state. That's all they're learning. And these children get tired of hearing about that. They're not interested in all the hearing about them stuff. Where they came, where they're being taught about, you know what I'm saying, when they would thrive. you know what I'm saying, something for them to look to seek higher things. Cause they might see their parents already, they at home, they struggling, you know what I'm saying? Their parents probably ain't got no real knowledge. So only thing they know to teach their children is
Ooh,
to go to school,
Hey,
get an education, and
ooh.
go to work. You know
I'll
what
say
I'm saying?
this too.
It's a,
Um,
go
I'll
ahead.
say this too. Like, all right, so my wife brought a very interesting statistic, man.
Hold
All
on.
right.
Hold your thought, G. Hold your thought. Hold your thought. Hold your thought.
Why you want me to hold my thought, man?
We're gonna take a break and we'll be right back. We're gonna take a break. We'll be right back.
I smell smoke. Barbecue. Jackson, Georgia. Mr. Tory Pinkins. He serving them dishes. He got the big hit grill on the back of the truck. Y'all better check him out. Hit him up at 678-761-3402. Y'all better find out where that truck gonna be at with that trailer, with that big pit grill on the back. Cause you might be smelling smoke. Barbecue. Hit him up and find out where that truck gonna be at so you can get some of that good old barbecue. Yeah. Now let's get back to the show.
Yeah, welcome back. It's the Band of Brother Podcast Show. I'm your boy, Duboy. I got my brother G Money. I got my brother Chris Hinton. And I got yours truly, Mo A. Yeah, Mo A, you were just getting into some hard nuggets. You were talking about kids learning, training at home. Go ahead and break it down again. And then G Money jump in there like you were if I interrupted. Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? The nipping in the bud. It's about roots, man. Like in order to teach a child to teach our children to be a black man, when we have to go to be taught directly from a black man, so when they have to be educated, when they go back to their deepest of searching and studying, should that take them all the way back to a black man so that they know how a black man is supposed to operate in the world? Can they be taught that by somebody who is not a black man?
So it take a black man to teach a black boy how to become a black man.
Black man. And then that black man would have to have learned it from a black man, and that black man would have to have learned it from a black man, and so far, and so far, and so far. And so on, you know what I mean?
I believe I like that. Go ahead, G Money.
All right, man. So my wife brought an interesting statistic to me. They kind of, set the tone of how other cultures think. So let's check this out. So don't know where the statistics at. It's not the overall picture, but wherever they take the statistics at, reading comprehension, we can all probably guess who was at the bottom of the list, right? In reading comprehension. Blacks, all right? African Americans.
African American.
The question is, who was at the top of the list? And it wasn't Caucasians.
You using all of the cultures?
All the cultures. So let's have a guess. There you go, my man. Smart man right there. Asians. Asians were at the top of the list. Here we go. All right. So let's take all the Asian countries or whatnot. All right. And these Asians are not American born. They're actually from a group that actually migrated. They're bilingual. Very, very closely related to their own culture over in America. Here's the thing. So you take these Asians. All right. Do China have basketball?
Yeah.
They don't have football, but they do have basketball. They do have all these sports. They participate heavily in these sports as hobbies. China and Asian groups are known to be some of the biggest players in classical music. They're big in music, man. Heavy in music. Particular types of music. But those things come as a subsidiary to education. it comes to a subsidiary of basically knowing mathematics, which also operates the mind to show you how to think logically and structurally. You said structurally, right? That's where the numbers come in. When you add 2 plus 2, you only can get to 4 one way when you're adding 2 plus 2. That's the beauty of numbers. Statistics can be off. Numbers can't be off. It's only one route to get to those particular numbers when you're dealing with certain type of numbers. Now, there's many ways to get. There's more than one way to get to 4, right? 3 plus 1, and so forth. 0 plus 4. All right. So they're real heavy on education to where basically it's almost like you dishonoring your family. And I don't quote me on this because I'm not saying that I totally agree with it, but I see where the benefit is coming at. So it's like you dishonor to your family if you don't make it educationally in your studies. Okay. That's how high it is, and it starts at home because you're not a dishonor to your school, you're not a dishonor to your country, you are dishonor to your family. That's how highly they think of this. You don't find that in our culture. You find the opposite in our culture because we want our kids and our children, especially our boys, we're more prouder about them picking up a football and scoring a touchdown rather than getting a 100 on their test. We're more thrilled with that. We get in American culture, we get a bigger thrill out of our kid scoring 20 points in the game rather than scoring number 1 overall in the class. Now, where is this coming from?
All right. I want to comment. I got a clip, but I'm gonna let y'all go ahead.
I want to comment. I'm glad you brought that up, G Money. I'm going to say something that most people don't want to pay attention to. We just spoke about Asian, and we wound up talking about Chinese more so over any other Asian background. A lot of people aren't paying attention that China's actually taken over more than 50% of the United States. China and Great Britain have taken over more than 50% of Africa. China is like one of the smallest areas in the world, but yet they own over 50% of the entire globe. That goes back to the numbers. They found out that everybody's wants everything.
Now here, check this out. Just a short years ago, right in World War II, you know which was the strongest Asian power? It was Japan.
Yeah.
It was Japan. Japan was the strongest Asian power during those times.
Wow.
And China was petrified of them because of their alliance with Germany, but mostly because of their I would say their investing into their military. Let's put it like that. I don't want to get deep into what Japan was doing back then, but they more so invested into their military, upgrading their military to be more modern, while China was kind of like catching up from living anciently, I would say. All right. They were moving moderately. Now, the thing is what a lot of these Asian countries did. Japan too. Japan is still a player in the world, not as heavily as China and some of the smaller Asian countries are. They made a choice that instead of investing heavily into military, they would invest heavily into education. They started investing into these after school programs, and like our kids right now can't even fathom being in school for like 18 hours. In China, it's like a thing. It's like normal, and I don't even know if something like that could exist over here, but go ahead, what you say?
Education wise, you saying that
education wise,
so much in their education that's what making them be productive.
Well, what it is the government meeting the parents halfway. The parents do the work to actually make sure these kids are actually getting the influence they need, and the school kind of piggybacks off of it. also it helps also that you from that same nationality. So these people, it's like you got a community. So it starts with a family. You go to school, and now you're being dealt with a community that makes you set on the right foot to where you're going. And they did this to make sure that they stay a national power and for the existence of their race.
So your point in saying that this is what we need to.
I hear the question: can it happen for us in America? I don't know.
Oh, it can happen for us. Cause look, that's what's got to happen for us if we want to exceed as a whole nation. Because just like you said, now the Chinese, they teaching the Chinese, so they taking it all the way back to their ancient Chinese father when it comes to their teaching. And the same way with the Japanese, or in the same way with the Ethiopians and all of these people. But when you come to the so-called Black American, we got a whole nother people teaching and educating our children. And
So
that is the root of the problem.
So you think the problem is the education that's being taught and the people that teaching it?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. That is the problem. Because if we can look at the results of what we have had, because think about what it was, okay, when there was segregation. Now people can say what they want, but we built the Black Wall Street. We were building up our own cities. And what happened? It came and dropped that fire on that guy. Mm-hmm. So this is what happened when you leave people alone and allow them to teach their own. They'll start to, you know what I'm saying? They no longer will be dependent on those who have been giving them these handouts and allow them to work for them. So they ain't got no choice but to do these things for themselves. Therefore, they building up themselves. Because they no longer have anybody to put their knee on their neck. You know what I'm saying? They got nobody to limit the amount of education in which they receive.
Man, check this out, man. We gotta really focus on what we're saying. Is education good or bad? What is it?
Good.
What was the definition that we use when we talk about education? You got education is an instruction, right? It's the instruction of how to do something. It's an instruction of how to use a system. Mm-hmm. We keep getting caught up in trying to define ourselves by the education. That's what other cultures don't do. When China come over here, when Chinese people come over here, they trying to learn this system. They don't care. They don't care. Not trying to let this system define who they are as a people. Think about it. Americans can't tell Chinese people how to be Chinese. So when they come over here, they trying to learn the American system. Yeah. That's where education come in at. This is how we get confused. We try to take the education to define us. No. You go to school to get educated, to learn the system so that you can create a Black Wall Street. Ain't no need of trying to have a Black Wall Street when you don't know how the system works on Wall Street. No. See, if you don't learn the system, if you don't read the manual, you can't operate the system. So instead of trying to take this Black history and define who we are, we got to take the system we got to take the education, the instructions to work the system. That's the difference between knowledge and education. Having the knowledge to do something is different than having the education to do it. Because when you have the knowledge, you can turn the TV, you can turn it on, you can turn the volume up and down. But what you cannot do is figure out why when you press this button, this works, and when you press that button, this works. What you end up having to do is go to the manual.
Yeah, so how do we tune into the manual though? How do we get to that point?
First,
like, are you in agreement that it starts with home, with the parents? Because we sending the kids to get educated.
No.
Something's still wrong.
No. This is what we do. We send our kids to school and we let the school tell our kids who they are. If we take our kids and show them who they are at home and send
Hold
them to school
on.
so that they
So
can
the,
learn the system.
well, hold on. But the Asians getting the same history. They getting the same history lesson that the blacks getting too in the
Right.
same class,
Right. But when the Asians hear,
and making better grades in that history class.
when they hear it, they only hearing it to recite it for
I
the.
got what you say.
They
I
not
got.
they not identifying themselves with it. So,
Yeah,
in other words, when you hear about this slavery thing, this is why we so caught up as a people right now.
Yeah.
We take it so personal. And even think about the system is so they got us so systematically just drained. When we hear Black History Month, we think we being honored.
Yeah.
But that's backwards. Black History Month was created for us to keep looking at inferiority. Remember this? You was in chains. Remember this? You will never make it. Remember this? You're not free. Remember this? The system is not created for you. So now instead of trying to learn the system, we getting caught up in the system. Forget that. Forget the system. Learn the system so that you can know how the system works. That's why we still get offended when we hear these names that being called.
Yeah.
We
You
still
ever heard of 1% or 5%ers?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But why, in other words, watch this. Watch this. Why when you call a white guy a cracker, why it just roll off of them?
Because they know the true history of where it came from. They know that was the sound that used to be made when they were whipping our ass, that crackling sound, the sound of the whip.
That's why they're not
To them, that's a compliment. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
But see, when you learn the history about them that they didn't tell you, that's when you feel, that's when they'll get upset.
I see what you're saying. We do tend to get very emotional about things where we don't think logically how to move forward. Now, here's something that me and my wife are actually entertaining. We're entertaining the thought of homeschooling.
That's fine.
Now check this out. Now, my wife just was ridiculed because of that decision. But what is wrong with that decision? Nothing that I see. If that's our free choice to do that, that's our free choice to do that.
Hold on before you take me away from my point. Listen, the reason why it doesn't bother white people, because they know that there's a system. They've been raised up to recognize that there's a system. Education is a way to get ahead in this system. And in this system, there's money. See, when you don't realize that the system is created for the flow of money, you start taking the system and get smothered in it. Everything else it's all about money. So that's why when you go to college, if you're going to college to get an education, get the education so you can have the credentials to get the money. What I'm saying is this: when you study for a test, you studying to pass the test, right? You ain't studying for the test to tell you who you are. You see, okay, listen, watch this. It probably ain't making sense, but I'm gonna try to make it make sense. If for somebody telling you that your mama named Laura and your daddy name is Eric, and you know your mama ain't named Laura and your daddy ain't Eric, why would you let somebody tell you that your mama named Laura? But when they give you the test out, write down Laura and write down Eric so you can get the A. Now, that's the system. But the knowledge is that you know who you are, you know who your mama are, and you know who your daddy is. Did it make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Now, same thing, here where we get caught up. We want to focus so much on what we know. We want to put what we know on the line so bad, we forget that the system ain't created for what you know. The system is created off of education. Do it make sense? Do it. So when we send our kids to school, we trying to make them understand or take this system based to define who they are. And that's why our kids are failing. Our black boys, see, it's easy for them to go to school, sign up for football, and kill it because they talented, because they got a skill level, and it shows. It's easy to display that. Because guess what? They know that. They know they can leap and jump and run and skip and hop. That's easy because they know they've been doing it all the time.
I got a question.
The challenge is for them to take this education, refute it, and still make A's. Like G Money said, the Asians are doing it. They're taking the same history and passing.
I think Craig got a question, man.
Go ahead.
You finishing your court?
This is for everybody. When a young black male approaches you and he talks about basketball, do you redirect him to, as we said, numbers or statistics? Do you redirect him to let him know how many of us actually make it into the professional league? Or do you change the subject and talk to him about CDs, RA, or things that he needs to think about economically that'll get him further along in life?
To be honest with you, no. But to be totally honest with you, by the time they don't got to that age where they realize and recognize that stuff, they have, like G Money said, they already been programmed to accept all these lies, which is education, to become knowledge.
Well, then that would be us as a parent's fault then, because it should have started when they started walking and talking.
It's most definitely us as a parent, and it's most definitely us as a community. But the reason why they take it is because we took it. Nobody defined the difference between us.
Yep.
How many people you know, we'll call them shade tree mechanics. How many people you know that know how to go break a car down, put it together, but don't get paid like they know?
Yep.
The reason why, because they knowledge they know. Credentials they don't have. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
Make sense? How many? Hey, check it out. Go ahead.
It do make sense, but our behavior as a people will have to change with it, because one thing that is not an excuse. What I don't want to do is what people want to do when we go to other cultures and we say, well, China has a country, so they can come over here and learn our system and they have a home. Or India has a country. I don't want to get into that, because we really don't know nothing past. A lot of us can't track back from where we're from, pinpoint. Some better than others, but let's get off of that. The point I was wanting to make is this right here. So you take the education, right? And basically you have so I don't know how I want to put it, man.
Let me say this, G. If we talked on the show before, the things that we value become important to us, right? The reason why we don't value education is because we disagree with it, what's being taught. It don't match us. We take it too personal.
Yep.
Like, for example, how many years does it take for you to become a doctor? How many years does it take for you to become a lawyer? Not saying that none of us can become that, but by the time we make that decision, we be late in the game. See, but when do we start practicing to be a football player? When do we start practicing to be a basketball player?
Oh,
As soon as we start standing up.
yeah, early.
The what you practice at the most, would you say is the thing that you become the best at?
Whatever you think you are is what you become.
So even with music, music means so much to us when we hear a beat, a bass, a melody. We instantly ready to click, move, right? But we've been learning that since we was little, learning the next new dance. Think about it, no? But where do all that get us when we become adults?
Nowhere. Because from a young age, we've been taught more vanity than we have anything.
I wouldn't say
That become a
I wouldn't say it's vanity. What I'm saying is that what we become professionals at is not education. We don't
It's
master,
entertainment, man.
we don't master the system. We
Yo,
don't master the system. So we know a lot, but it ain't systematic.
Well, and to agree with you, because it used to be outlawed for blacks to read, know how to read, because it opens into that. People basically knew that if you just learn how to read, you could penetrate the system. You could penetrate their language. A lot of foreigners, if you know their language, they're very uncomfortable around you rather than if you didn't know their language. Because if you know their language, that means that you know their system. You know their system. So I feel where you're coming from.
oh yeah, I agree
You
with
stating the truth.
100%.
Hold on, G. Go ahead, Chris. I know you got to get out of here, man. We want to get your last comments and word, man. What you think about all this so far?
Just back to what I said, it all started from the house. I'll never change that up.
Okay. So what do we have to do to be able to bring our young black brothers to become strong black men? What were we lacking, man?
I would say this.
Hold on, Mo. Hey, he get ready.
Go ahead.
Got another meeting he got to go to, but I want to get a last comment before he go.
Every child is individually they're different. So what you have to do, in my perspective, is find out what they like and swap it over to what they need to know. So if they like fancy cars and jewelry, tell them how they got to get it. If they like music, teach them how to use the right words. Everything is changed by one word, no matter what the sentence is. You have to find a different objective to everything to teaching them.
Gotcha. All right, man. Appreciate you being on the show, man. Love you, man. You're a brother, man.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
All right, Chris.
All right.
All right, Mo. Hey, what you were saying, man? Go ahead.
Hey, I was saying, see, look, I'm gonna tell you what I teach my son. I tell my son to go to school, put the answers that they want you to have, learn what it is that they do. But then, as you get older, do your own research. That's what I teach my child. Cause it's kind of necessary to learn the system. Cause that's the system that we living in.
Right.
But once we learn it, only thing we really need to hold from within it is those things which are good. So that way we can learn how to operate within that system.
Right.
And then develop ourselves to a point where maybe it will come a time that we can come up out of that system, because that system ain't for us. And it was never created to be for us. Or because if it was, then we would have already elevated and reached the highest thing, like many of the other people come up with. But see, it wasn't designed to keep them down or to a certain status. It was designed to keep us down to a certain status. And you know what it's always promoted before. Like, we can even take it even down to the little children's book. They'll give us children's book with a with this 3 pigs and a wolf. How is that benefiting you and your people?
I agree with
about 3 pigs and a wolf.
you
know what I'm saying?
Stories.
Come on.
Small moral. I'm talking about bigger fish, man. One thing is, I agree with what you're saying. We got to teach our people, not just kids, because some of our adults are miseducated as well. We got to teach them the difference between education and knowledge. Our young boys got to be able to grow up. See, knowledge will tell you that with money, you can buy anything you want, right? To get something, you got to have money, and you can buy with money. But education will tell you how much money, what you got to do to get the money, and where and how many sources to allocate or reallocate to maintain that thing. Difference. It's different. That's why you need education. It don't make enough. It ain't enough. Anybody that who have a black-owned business, at some point, you got to realize you in competition. And the competition that you in with, they educated. So now you got to try to catch up to compete because we didn't value the education in the beginning. It's all about knowing who we are and what we want. Because you're educated, in our culture, we'll say that those brothers they sellouts. How? Because he educated? Because he wanted more out of this system than you wanted? Can't.
Yeah, that's interesting because we basically saying that that brother or that sister basically is within that system and not in the system that we're trying to create or a system that's been force-fed to us. It's not our system. System ain't getting us nowhere but being professional entertainers. I mean, that is all what it is. I mean, football doesn't benefit anyone but gambling and entertainment, man. That's all it do. You know.
Some of them brothers, they are educated.
No, they are educated, but football doesn't benefit. Its platform is entertainment, man. It used to be recreation, but as far as professionalism, it's entertainment. I turn on a football game. It can stimulate my mind, but just like a chess game can, it's entertainment.
If it was just entertainment without the education to it, it wouldn't be on TV. It wouldn't be making millions. It wouldn't be paying these dudes like they getting paid. Somebody educated. Like I said, like we said on the last show, somebody playing checkers and somebody playing chess.
But educated in what though? In the plays or whatnot? It's a certain intellectual. I'm not saying I don't like football. I love football. I love it. But what benefit is it really bringing you? What benefit is it really bringing you?
I ain't talking about the field work. I'm talking about for them to get it on TV, to get somebody like me and you.
I got what you're saying. You going deeper. You saying to get it on TV. All right.
Look,
I got you.
Somebody like me and you.
Yeah. I got you.
Huh?
I got you. It take education because we don't see the front office, which is a whole bunch of educated people. You're right. You're right.
No educated.
Right. I'd agree with you on that. You're right.
They not spending all half of a year in pads.
Yeah. I just didn't see what angle you were coming at, but you do have. Now I ain't disagreeing. A lot of those football players are highly educated people. I love football. I love my home team. I'm not gonna say y'all know where I live, but you know they
check this out, G. This is the difference between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. I don't want to get hit, but I might get jumped in the parking lot. Look, Michael Jordan came in it, not saying that he wasn't educated. I'm just saying that at that particular time, our culture of people was not educated. So we took advances, we took stuff that was given to us out of just the lack of. Now you got somebody like LeBron James. That dude got a brain on his head. See how he changed the culture? Michael Jordan changed the culture, but then LeBron James, dude, now guess what? I wouldn't be surprised if he'd be a consultant to all the players when they start coming in the NBA.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Right.
be surprised if he
Right.
a whole
But
group of
yeah.
consultants. Like,
Same.
go ahead.
Yeah. Same thing with boxing and Mayweather, man.
Same.
He promote his own fights. He does the leg work where so many boxers got gypped by promoters, man. He do that leg work. He get the money. He set up them fights. And people can talk about his pride, they can talk about his confidence and being flamboyant, but the dude is doing something and on another level. But to be honest with you, you can go even deeper to even the music industry where actually music artists are smarter or more educated. I want to say smarter because, they're kind of a negative term there, but educated to actually know where the mistakes happened before with musicians in the past.
I say that
Some,
we got more educated people involved. I say that.
yeah. Say you got more educated people involved. Might not be them, all right?
Might not be the rap
Well,
artists. We
Well,
got
sometimes it's an educated move to actually have someone who's more educated and involved to do it. I mean, to be honest, it'll be a smarter move for me to hire a lawyer rather than to represent myself in court. The thing is that I could represent myself in court. I have that right, but to have another viewpoint, an outside personnel who's looking at the same information, my eyes is going to be biased because I'm going according to how I feel as well. He's going to probably, or hopefully, or she going to look at it from a biased viewpoint of, okay, this and that, but this is the angle we should take. So it's always better to have that collaboration with someone else because a different viewpoint. And you can go back to biblical where, they say the proverb says, that if you're making a decision, basically, that, in the midst of two or three, you can actually, have a better chance of making a decision. Consult with many rather than to consult with yourself.
all right, man. Go ahead, Moe. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, man.
Yeah, man, too. I agree with a lot of it, man, that was said, man. But anytime we forget about many things, like you look at like people like Nick Cannon, these people are educated, but as they grew and got older, they re-educated themselves. So they learn how the system worked, and then they learn things that was outside of the system, what the system was, the information the system was providing for, and therefore they don't took their education a little bit deeper, and so now they can take that which is in the system and that which is without the system to try to form something that's better. You know what I'm saying? They bring true more knowledge and guidance that's beneficial for our people within this system. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, that's another topic, man. I get what you're saying. I don't want to count on what you're saying, but I get what you're saying. Here's what I say. It's better that we know ahead of time than to know in hindsight after something happened. A lot of time what happened to us, we get money and get railroad. See, they don't mind giving us money when you don't know nothing. Why? Because they can strategize and take it away from you. Mm-hmm. That's the lack of education. So what happens once you done made $1 million and you realize everybody out to get some of it, then you want to go educate yourself because you start feeling like they want my money. Mm-hmm. That what that is. And it happened to a lot of black entertainers.
Yeah, it does, man.
So let me wrap this up, man. Basically, it's on the parents to teach these young fellows, young boys, who they are so that they can have the confidence, like the man said in the first clip, of who they strong father is and what a strong mother is, so that they can have confidence that their families are secure and significant, that they can become whoever and whatever they want to become. Then the second part is teaching them to obtain education to become the thing that they want to become. See, we wait too late to start choosing who we want, what career, what we want to accomplish in this earth. We wait too late. We wait till all the opportunity. You too late in the game. You want to play football, you start learning when you're in Pee Wee League. Go to high school, go to college, then you pro. Look how many years you invested. But when you want to decide you want to be a lawyer or an architect, you've been failing math from elementary, struggled in high school, got to college, and you still trying to figure out basic algebra. How? Waited too late to want to be an architect. Like G said, with the Chinese people, they be high on education at an early age because they value it. Because they know there's a system in place, and with that system, there's money. There's another nugget. Got to value education early. We got to teach our kids, our young boys. We show them who they are by us being who we are, by example. But if we want them to accomplish anything in this world with money, we got to teach them to master the system. Education. Go ahead, Mo. You were finna say something?
Oh, I was just gonna add on that. See, and if we look at it, that success is described by what we see on TV. That's why so many of our children want to be the football players or the basketball players or the rappers, because that's where they show our successes.
No. That ain't
entertainment.
That's us praising that stuff. We praise that stuff. We give that stuff glory. So kids think, if I want my mama proud of me, I got to play football. If I want to buy my mama a car when I grow up, I got to play basketball. And see, instead of teaching them, I'm proud of you when you make an A on your math test. I'm proud of you when you write that paper. So a lot of times, kids don't even bring their paper home no more. Parents don't even ask for their paper no more. Parents don't even ask them what they learned today.
Yeah, I think it's also important for parents, man, to also allow their kids to see them practicing this as well. Because one thing about the human brain is so magnificent that God created in each one of us, all cultures, is that, you can start late in the game and still be successful. Might not be as good as you could have been if you started, young, but all of us can pick up a book. All of us can get educated in whatever interest. Pick up some interest. Let your kids see you reading. We can't hardly make our kids read if we not reading ourselves, man. It's just a fact. Read something. Educate yourself,
You really see a system fail?
Yeah.
What happened if they don't open these schools back up? Stay at home and learn for the next 5 years. What if
learn a whole different system?
Whole different system. You want to see our people struggle? See, now you got the opportunity to teach your kids the history that you want to teach them, and then what happened?
Yeah. See if these people come to the moment, man. Come to the light, It's gonna show. Hope they ready for it.
All right, man. Get out of here. G Money, you know what time it is.
Yo. So, today was education versus knowledge. And I want to leave our viewers and our listeners with one important point, that today, not tomorrow, is your greatest day. Put education into practice today. And also, you can leave us a message. You can give us a call, give us a holler, and let us know how you might be applying some of this stuff in your lives or speaking it amongst yourselves at 678-435-9076. Again, that phone number is 678-435-9076. You can also reach us at email at Banner Brothers, that's spelled with a Z, bannerbrothers.pod@gmail.com. Again, that email is bannerbrothers.pod@gmail.com. And your boys on the tube. You can see our faces and all. You can see you viewing in our rooms, speaking to you. Right on the tube at Banner Brothers. Right? Banner Brothers. You can reach us there as well. All right? We out.
All right. Well, hey, Mo, hey, we appreciate you being on the show. You and Chris hitting all the way down from Sarasota, Florida, man. Appreciate y'all, bro.
Yeah, Moe, don't be a stranger, man. Love you here, bro.
Oh yeah, man. I appreciate it, man. Y'all some intelligent brothers, man. I love this, man.
Yo, man. Shout out to the boss, man. Boss, man, whatever you doing, man.
Boss. Get off that vacation, boss.
That's our show for today. Thanks you for listening to the Banner Brother Podcast. And we appreciate you, man. We want to hear some comments. Leave us a comment. If you want to be on the show, call the number. Let us know that you'd like to be a guest on the show. All that being said, to the next episode, we out.
Yep.
I thought we were going to talk about this all night.
But that was a good one, bro. That was a good one. That was a topic there, bro.
Hey, I can tell you had that on your chest for a while, man. You had some deep